Hey, I'm Michael Janda. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to turn this into this. This video is all about best practices for a portfolio website. I'm going to show you the strategies that are going to help you create a portfolio website that is going to make you get noticed, get an interview, and land a job. My career started in the late 90s, and by 1998, I was a creative director at a .com startup in Phoenix, Arizona. And that was my first experience hiring creatives. I hired designers, I hired programmers, I hired account managers, I hired content creators in this funded .com startup, and it was an exciting time in my career. Then I transitioned from there and got a job as a creative director at Fox Studios, where I managed a big team of designers, account managers, content creators. And then after that, I started my agency and started hiring people, and over the course of my agency, employed 74 different people at my agency before I sold it in 2015. And then at the agency I sold to, I worked there as one of the 4 partners of the agency for a couple years, where we had a team of 70 to 80 people, depending on the timeline in that span of time. Suffice to say, I have employed, managed, hired a ton of designers over my career. I calculated it up one time, and it's 168 designers that I employed over the course of my career. And I did the little calculation and found that if it was 5 interviews per hire, then I have done 840 interviews of designers. And if it was 30 resumes and portfolios that were submitted for each design position, then I've reviewed 5,040 portfolio sites and resumes, 5,040 applicants to the design positions that I managed over the course of my career. So I've seen a ton of portfolio sites, and in this video, it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm going to give you every little nugget of advice that I can to help you craft a portfolio site that is going to get you noticed, that's going to get you an interview, that's going to give you the opportunity to sell yourself into a design position. This video is going to be great for design students that are out there senior year at the university trying to get ready to go find a job. It's going to be great for those of you that are struggling to land a job. You're not sure why. It's going to be great for budding freelancers, because the principles that I teach you in this lesson also apply to landing clients. And how do we position our marketing to land clients? These same principles apply. So I'm excited to take you through this content and share with you these strategies that have been forged out of me reviewing a ton of great portfolios and a ton of crappy portfolios. Now, we're going to jump ahead. I did a call with Parisa Moghaddam, my new friend who lives in Vancouver. She's originally from Iran, and I walked her through these concepts and taught her this using her portfolio site as an example. And then I redesigned it for her using the principles that I share in this video. So what I'm going to walk you through is my critique of her portfolio site and all of the advice that I gave her. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you my redesigned version of her portfolio site that is more effective in helping her find her job in the industry. So let's dig into my chat with Parisa, and then we'll wrap it up with the unveiling of the portfolio site that I created for her to help her get noticed. I am here with Parisa Moghaddam. originally from Iran and now living in Vancouver. And she is a super talented designer and is getting her bachelor's right now, finishing it up, and looking for job opportunities. And she sent me her portfolio website and said, hey, could you give me a critique? And I've been wanting to do this content for a long time. And so she is the fortunate recipient of an in-depth critique of her portfolio site to structure it better so that she can jump off the page and get noticed by potential employers. Parisa, why don't you give me or give everybody a little bit of background about you?
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm really lucky to have you to take my portfolio and my website. Thank you for so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm originally from Iran, and like it's been like 3 years. It's been 1 year. I'm looking for a job, but because of the COVID and pandemic and all this situation. Um, I don't know how to build my connection with the new
Mm-hmm.
people. I don't know how to affect on new employees and like new jobs. I don't know how to sign up for them. And I
Mm-hmm.
try my best to like looking for a job that I'm fit in, but I can't even get the interview for like some of the jobs.
Yeah.
So that's so challenging. And I was like, oh my God, maybe there's something wrong with me or with my artworks or I'm not good enough. But after I talking with you, like I was like, oh my God, thank you. Thanks God. It's not the problem. This is the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I just want to know if you can give me some helpful critiques to my website and see what can I do, what can I make it better, how can I make it better, what can I change, and that could be so helpful.
Good. Okay, so it is not a problem with your design. I looked at your design work. You show a lot of great talent. You've got artistic skills and some design understanding. So you've got a nice mix of talent. So I believe that if we fix the presentation of your work, that you're going to be able to get noticed and get more interviews. And one thing that's important to know and remember is that your portfolio site is there just to give you that get you that opportunity to get an interview. But in the interview is when you really need to sell yourself to the potential client or employer. So the whole objective of your portfolio site, if you're looking for a job, is to get you that face-to-face interview. And there are a handful of things that you can do on your site that I'm going to walk you through right now that will help position you more as a better expert and more capable and more interesting to a potential employer. So let's go down your website and I'll just walk you through my recommendations and feel free to stop me if you have any questions and I'll stop intentionally a few times to give you an opportunity to ask some questions as well. So first things first, one of the good things is that you have a custom domain name. So parisamoghaddam.com. And that is good because it shows that you take your personal brand seriously enough to spend some money and get a custom domain name. But when we go to your website, you have on top this site was designed in Wix.com, website builder, create your website today, start now. The fact that you're just using the free website builder from Wix shows it less professionalism than if you forked out the $6 a month to pay for the Wix site to not have that banner on top. And a lot of positioning yourself right is to show that you're serious about your career. You're serious about landing a job, about making a difference in a business, about landing clients. And when you have the custom domain, that's correct and good. But when you have the free Wix site, then it misrepresents your level of professionalism. So don't just post with the free builder banner on top. Because that's recommendation number one. You have any questions or comments about that?
Thank you so much. No, actually, I try many times to get the right address, but I don't know why it's not working. It's so annoying as well. Like I have problem with this as well.
So it's a big important priority to figure that out. So I don't use Wix, so I'm not sure where it is, but if you're paying for a Wix site, if you pay the monthly fee, then it shouldn't have the banner on it. There's usually certain thresholds with things like this where it's not branded as a Wix site. So it may relate to that. If you're on a free plan, it may be free because they can advertise their business on top of your site. Mm-hmm. If you're paying them money, then usually that's a non-branded thing. But you still may need to toggle it on or off in the system. Okay, next thing. On the top left, that top left corner is a super important piece of real estate on your website. It is the first thing that people see. You're living in Canada, people read top to bottom, left to right. And that top left corner should be a custom logo or a custom word mark. It needs to be something designed and branded up there. Now, my recommendation is to not have some big, crazy, colorful logo, but to do something simplistic and professional. And a lot of times for designers, a word mark is just the great solution. Parisa Moghaddam in some kind of scripted font would look awesome in that top left corner and show some professionalism. Now, what you have in that top left corner is a Yahoo email address. And so you're using your most important real estate on your website to show a Yahoo email address, which in the realm of email addresses is low on the professional acceptance list. If we look at the best email address for you would be parisa@parisamoghaddam.com or me@parisamoghaddam.com. That's number one choice. If you don't do that choice, then do choice number two, which is a Gmail address. So parisamoghaddam@gmail.com. Gmail has become widely accepted, even in the business world, as a professionally acceptable web or email address, but it's not better than a custom email address with your custom domain name. Now, Yahoo is really down on the professional acceptance perception because Yahoo's business has struggled for the last decade or more. They haven't been able to grow with the rest of the tech companies, the Google, Apple, Facebook types of companies that have grown and boomed. Yahoo has been floundering and struggling. So using a yahoo.com email address is not advisable because it's kind of low in the business perception thing. Other ones that are low, like Hotmail, is a low option. AOL.com. Somebody sent me an email the other day from AOL address, and I was like, geez, does AOL even still exist? I haven't seen an AOL email address in a long time. So to reiterate, you need a personal email address, parisamoghaddam.com email address, or you can use a Gmail address, which is the next best choice. Okay, any questions about that?
No, awesome. You already answered my question. Thank you so much.
Okay, now let's go down. Let's just talk about just the general design. And like I said at the start, your design capabilities are good. When we look at your case studies or the work, the packaging design and things that you've done, you show tons of talent, tons of potential, you have illustration capabilities. That's all great, but your website doesn't convey that message. Your website, we have on top here a big name of you and then this paint swatch of some oil painting stuff that you have on here, or maybe it's acrylic, but it's this big paint swatch. It doesn't get the viewer to the work that you're trying to get to. And you're also using kind of this faded pink color as your brand color. Now, a big recommendation that I have for all designers that are trying to land work from potential employers is to reduce the design potency of your personal brand and let your work design be the hero and shine. So in this situation, you're really branded. You have pink as your color. You have this big artistic swatch of paint on there. And then as you scroll down, you have pink and some blue pastels. You have a pastel gradient. All of that is branded about you, and it reduces someone's ability to focus on the work that you've done, because now all of the work that you've done gets framed inside of this pastel subtle gradient aesthetic. And in your situation, you want to be a doppelganger of sorts where you apply to an agency and you're not so branded that they think, oh, she doesn't really fit here. Her work is too pastel and too gradients and stuff, and that's not really our style. So they don't see you as one of them. Or you apply to another place that's very corporate looking and you don't look corporate looking, you look artistic looking. So you want to reduce your personal brand design and let the work that you've created be the design that shines on your website. Now, in order to do this, you should reduce the amount of colors and design elements inside of your portfolio design or your website design. Stick with things like a white and black and gray palette or a black background with reverse text coloring on it, so that the work, the case studies, the portfolio is what pops off the page. Mm-hmm. It's not trying to visually compete with your personal brand design.
Yeah, I understand.
Do you have questions about that?
No, actually, I was like thinking, which color, like, how can I change the color? Because this is like my favorite color, and I try to bring some of my personality, but you're right.
I love bringing in your personality, so let's bring it in as an accent color, not as the dominant color. So you love this pastel pink color, and it is a pretty color, and it's soothing, and it's on brand for you and your personality, but let's just drip it into the design instead of make the whole design that color. So envision if you had a white background or a slightly off-white background, and up in the top left corner you have a little word mark that's in some artistic, illustrative type of font or handwritten logo kind of thing. And then there were like these little accent buttons that were the pastel pink color that you like. So you bring it in as an accent, but not as the dominant flood color. Mm-hmm. Okay. Going on, the menu design up on the top. So you have right now home, about, portfolio gallery, what I do, and contact. Now, one of my my recommendations from a UX standpoint is to follow a simplistic convention. So you have three of the navigation items have one word only, and one of the navigation items has two words, and one of the navigation items has three words, what I do. Why not change that to make them all consistent, one word only? The word is portfolio. The next word is about. The next word is, instead of what I do, it is services. And the next word is contact. So now you have a simplified nav of one word for each thing that you're putting in that navigation. Now, home in 2021 and beyond is rarely included in the navigation. People know that the logo clicks and goes back to home. It's a standard usability element that most people recognize. So let's have your top left logo be the click to home and not put home into your nav at all. So your nav would be, and I'm going to reorder this a little bit, because most of the time people coming to your site, if you're trying to get a job, they're looking to see your work. So let's put portfolio as the first link on the list. So it would go portfolio, about, services, contact. 4 buttons in your navigation. And each of the 4 is one word only. Now we have a simplified, cleaned up nav on top. Okay, questions or comments about that?
That sounds really good.
Okay. Now we have the social icons up in the top right. Now, the social icons are good. They add a little bit of design flair to the navigation area, so it makes it look a little more interesting. I went on your social links, and your LinkedIn has, I think, 87 connections on LinkedIn. And then your Instagram has 80 something also. And then the final one, which is just a link icon, goes to your Behance. Now, my recommendation here is to remove the Behance link, because you're going to have your portfolio on this page. You don't need to send them away from this page to go get lost inside of Behance. So let's keep them on your page for Behance. Instagram, I would consider not putting Instagram up in your top navigation, because you have so few followers on there. You don't want to emphasize the fact that you're junior and new and trying to get your feet wet in the industry. You want to make it appear like you're more capable than what you might feel right now. And when you send somebody to an Instagram account that has a small number of followers, it can dilute the brand perception that you're trying to create. So consider not having Instagram on your top nav, but LinkedIn, I think it's good to put on your top nav, but you can easily increase the number of connections that you have on LinkedIn just by going on LinkedIn later today and connecting with tons and tons of people. Most people accept any connection on LinkedIn. I do. I have thousands of people that have connected with me on LinkedIn. I accept every single one of them. I don't vet them for any reason. If somebody wants to be connected with me in a business networking environment like LinkedIn, I'm going to accept them. So you should do the same, or take that mindset and go on to LinkedIn and add a lot of people to your connections so that you have 200 or 300 people. By Sunday afternoon, today is Friday, by Sunday afternoon, you probably could have 300 or 400 new connections on LinkedIn just by going and finding designers and asking them to connect with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know I should follow everyone in LinkedIn. I just try to be picky and accept or
Yeah.
follow my favorite people.
Picky environments are Facebook. Like, people don't accept every friend request on Facebook. But Instagram, anybody can follow you, whether you want them to or not. So that's not the kind of environment where you connect with people in the way that you do with LinkedIn, where you both have to mutually accept each other. But LinkedIn, most people will accept all the connections that people issue. I would start with designers in Vancouver. Build your network of people in Vancouver where you live. Business owners in Vancouver. Build your network of business owners who are connected to you in Vancouver. So start in your local area and then expand out from there to designers in Iran, as an example. I don't know if LinkedIn's available in Iran, but do you know if it is?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I know that some countries lock out, like you can't
Yeah.
get LinkedIn in Russia, which
Yeah,
is
I know.
a shame. I have a lot of contacts in Russia. So anyway, okay, so connect with people. Connect with people on LinkedIn, build that audience, and then keep LinkedIn in your top navigation. All right, moving down the page. Now we're going to get into some of the more meat of changes I'd recommend. So the first one is there are 2 questions that you have to answer in any kind of sales process. And in this situation, you're selling yourself to a potential employer. So the 2 questions that you have to answer to that potential employer is, why should they buy the thing that you do? Why should they hire someone, anyone, to do design work for them? Packaging design, illustration. Why should they hire somebody to do that? And then the second question is, after you answer that, is why out of all the other people in all the world should they hire you specifically to be that person? So those are 2 big questions that you need to answer, and it needs to start happening in this main billboard area on your website. So you have here Parisa Moghaddam, your name, and then below you say creative solutions for your design needs. Now that's super, super generic, and it really doesn't answer either of those questions directly. So if you're applying for jobs, why do you think an employer is looking to hire someone at all? What do you think their problems or pain points are?
I think mostly like creativity, sometimes like little creativity. Mostly like you have to be fast, you have to be on time, you have to be like really care about all the details about everything. And I think this is the reason like they hire someone.
Okay, I agree. All those things are super important. Now, why would they hire someone? Do they already have people in-house? Actually, I'll just answer this question because there's a missing component of what you're talking about there. What you said is super important, and it is why they hire someone. But oftentimes in this process, they're busy. They don't have enough people to do what they need to get done. And so they're looking outside of that to hire someone. The pain that a potential employer feels at an agency or in a marketing department is that they have too much to get done and not enough people to do it. That's the big pain point that most of those people are trying to solve. So you, as a potential employee of a business like that, can start to talk about positioning yourself as someone who can work without direction. You're not going to come in and be a burden to the person who hires you. You're going to come in and lighten their load. You can provide them with another outlet to produce work. You can position yourself as someone who can contribute to the the culture, the business culture inside of their design team by bringing your creativity and new, fresh energy to their design team. These are the kinds of pains that oftentimes a business is trying to fill, an agency style business is trying to fill, or a marketing department. So keep those things in mind. Now, the next question is, why, out of all the people that are out there looking for jobs, why should they hire Parisa? What is special about you that makes you the better choice than the other 50 people that apply for that job? What are some initial thoughts that you have?
I think it would be just like, I have a lot of talent, but the creativity could be like the boldest point. And the reason I add the sign to my website was that I just want to like make sure everyone knows I can create new things. I can use my creativity. I'm not just a copy paste person. I can bring this personality to my new designs.
Okay, awesome. Those are good answers. You missed one that is important, and it may be the most important. And because lots of people are talented, lots of people are creative, lots of people don't copy paste, lots of people have good personality, but nobody in the world is you. Parisa and her special gifts that she was born with is a unique person that can contribute in unique ways to this employer's business. Now, in order to sell yourself into an employer, it's important to show yourself, to help them see inside of you. Now, you do a pretty good job of this in your about paragraph that you have on your site. And I read that, and I saw on Behance also you had a similar type of write-up in there. And you do a pretty good job of highlighting the fact that Parisa is somebody special, somebody unique. But on your homepage, you don't have a picture of yourself. And the most unique thing about you is you. So, in fact, on this one section here, you say who I am, and you have that paragraph, but next to who I am, there's this lollipop on a tray. It is not a picture of you. So one of the important things in a portfolio site when you're in your phase of a career is to brand it around you. Help them see that you are someone unique and special and can be a great component of their team. And they want to look at a picture of you and say, wow, she looks like such a nice, pleasant person. I could easily see her working for us. Good. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this girl. That's one of the things that's so important, but you're not doing that on your website. Now, you have a photo of yourself on Instagram, and you have a photo of yourself on LinkedIn. Your photo on LinkedIn is awesome. It's actually the same photo you have in your Zoom channel. It's a great photo. You've got a great smile. The focus is really good. The background is simplistic, so I can easily focus on your face and see you. That photo is awesome, and you should be using that right smack on your homepage, because the thing that makes you unique is you. And you want someone, a potential employer, to see you, see your presentation of your work on your portfolio site, and look at it and say, I could see her being part of our team. Yeah, I'm going to give her an interview. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you so.
All right. And will you send that photo to me? Because I want to use that photo in a couple of mock-up things that I'm working on.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So super great photo. Use it. And I would actually change your Instagram to that same photo. It's a great photo. All right.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Moving on. Now, in this top header area, this is your opportunity to create a positioning statement. And your positioning statement should try to answer those two questions that I said. Question number one, why should they hire someone at all? And question number two, why should they hire Parisa out of all of the other candidates? And we want to craft that into a positioning statement of some sort. So instead of having Parisa Moghaddam on here, creative solutions for your design needs, we're going to craft that into a positioning statement. And the formula that I recommend you start with is a simple formula that is, I help this business type, and then you fill in the blank, with this service, and then you fill in the blank, to produce this result, and then you fill in the blank. Now, this is the start of a positioning statement. Trying to find, what do you actually offer someone that you're trying to market yourself to? I help this type of person or business with these types of services to produce these types of results. Now let's take this formula through the things that you've already talked about. So you're applying for different agency jobs, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this through the formula. So I help creative agencies with on-time, speedy, or fast, detail-oriented creative design. These are words that you just gave me that we could fill in that services. To produce what? What's the result? So to produce better project completion or more effective creative work or high quality customer experiences or high quality client results. We could put a lot of different things into that formula that you're doing those services to produce these results. So that's the formula you want to work off of and start crafting for yourself as much as for the potential employer. What is it that you bring to the table? What's beneficial about you out of everybody else? So you want to try and understand their pain point and then position yourself to fill it. So my recommendation is use that formula and start filling in a variety of different words till you start finding some phrases that could be the most effective way to create a positioning statement for the top of your website up there. Do you have questions or comments?
Yeah, I just have a question. Is that any rules that we have to think about? Is that should be short sentence, or is not, it depends on whatever you choose?
It depends on whatever you choose. The shorter the better, typically. But if you go to michaeljanda.com, my website, you'll see my positioning statement right there on the top. I help creative entrepreneurs make more money with less stress. That's my core positioning statement. And then below, I have a description of what I do to fulfill that positioning statement. And why me? Like I said, out of all the choices in all the world, why should you choose me? Well, I'm an agency veteran. I owned an agency for 15 years. I'm a business coach. I've written 2 books. I have channels like my Instagram and YouTube channel where I teach and mentor people. So I try and position myself and show how I fulfill that positioning statement. This is just an example. Now, I help creative entrepreneurs make more money with less stress is my one-liner positioning statement. It positions me as the solution to the problem that most creative freelancers and agency owners are feeling at some point in their life. You and I are on this call right now because of stress. I'm trying to help you have less stress in your creative career, and here we are making content. So this is a fulfillment of me understanding Parisa's pain and positioning myself to fill it. Now, mine it's a longer positioning statement than what a lot of people have. You could distill a positioning statement down to a few lines like make more money as a designer. That could be your positioning statement, But you have to start with the formula and then start getting the words in there and then start breaking those words into how can I say this the shortest way possible and still have it fulfill all the meaning that I want to share. So it's an exercise that takes some time and takes some polish and takes some modification over time. So be patient with it. But this is prime real estate. This homepage billboard area is prime real estate. You don't want to not position yourself for a potential opportunity by just glossing over that and helping people to see, oh, I guess I'm on Parisa's website because there's her name super big. They're going to know that already because in the top left corner, you're going to have a little word mark logo that does that. Okay, next, this image, the painterly image that you have on there, yes, it's artistic, and yes, it's fun, and yes, it has, it shows inside of you and your artistic flair, but it does not help support the positioning statement. So if you're trying to help an agency with their production load, you're trying to help bring or infuse more creativity into their team, or you're helping to speed up their production by adding extra manpower to their business by being part of their design team, their creative team. This image doesn't say any of that. It doesn't support that type of positioning statement. So this image is not doing you any help. All it's doing is making it so that people have to scroll past it. And every interaction on the site that you have to have people do makes it so that it delays them getting to what they really want. So some people will bounce because there's nothing up there that makes them want to continue lower on the page. So I would recommend removing this and getting right to your work. So you have on top, you have your logo, you have your nav, you have your positioning statement, and then you go right into case studies of your work.
I can even bring that like kind of painting in my portfolio as a like.
Yes, totally. As a separate case study. Yeah, exactly. Okay. One thing that I forgot to mention on this main billboard page, on the main billboard section of your homepage, what do you want them to do? You're applying for different jobs. What do you want them to do? When they look at this, you want them to what?
I want them to check my portfolio, like my artwork.
Okay. And then what do you want them to do?
And want them to like, they like them and kind of try to get connected with me.
Yeah, connected with you. That's the answer I'm going for. Connected with you. You want them to connect with you so that you can get in front of them and try and sell your services to them. Try and position yourself as the right employee to help their business. But on here, you don't have a call to action. So I'm not sure as a user, what am I supposed to do on this homepage? I've got some links up on top. I've got the Yahoo email address. I could do a variety of different things here, but there's no singular, clear call to action of what I want the person viewing this to do. So the call to action that I would recommend for you is something like contact me, let's work together, reach out, let's discuss your position and how I can fill it, some kind of call to action on that top billboard that is clearly the thing that you want them to do. Now, we still have the navigation on top. We still have the LinkedIn button and your logo on there. But let's make a little call to action that is more clearly the thing that you want them to do on this page. And the answer to that is, let's work together. That's the one I would recommend, because it's like, hey, I'm ready. Let's work together. Let's do this. And they'll click it and it goes to your email form, or it just opens up their email and pre-fills it with your email address. So that's what I would recommend up on top as the last thing on that billboard section. Questions about that?
You mean in the top of the page in front of like my LinkedIn and Instagram logo?
No, I mean put it like right below your positioning statement.
Okay.
Hi,
okay.
I'm Parisa Moghaddam. I am a creative designer helping agencies with production work and illustration to generate results for their clients. That's your positioning statement. Could be your positioning statement. And then right below it, there's a little button that says, let's work together. So positioning statement, let's work together. Get that action inside of the positioning statement so that you're selling them on why you and how you can help them, and you're giving them the ability to interact with you, connect with you, as you said, right there. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, next. There's another option for this top of the page. As you're looking for jobs, the other option on the top of the page is to just come right out and say what you want. So it's the positioning statement is a little more subtle version, but this one is, what in the world does Parisa want? And you could start with something like, I'm an illustration-focused designer seeking a junior design position in the creative industry. So you're just saying right out on the top, here's who I am and this is what I'm looking for. That's another option to the positioning statement formula that I was talking about earlier. So it's the positioning statements option number 1 on the top of the page. Option number 2 is just come out and say what you want, what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Either of those can be effective in your portfolio site. All right, moving down. Okay, so below this billboard of the positioning statement, we're going to start case studies. Now, on your current site, you haven't structured your projects as case studies. Each of these things should be one thumbnail per project type. And here, like across the top, you have the first 4 across the top are all the same project. Let's make one of those the thumbnail, and then when the user clicks it, it goes to see the full case study of that project. And I counted 8 different ones that you have in your portfolio, so you could easily just have 2 rows of 4 on there. And below each of those, there's the text. I wouldn't make people hover to see what the project is. I would make it so that the text about the project, at least the title and what type of project it was, is just directly below the thumbnail. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this section of case studies. The case studies. So you're going to have 8 case studies on your site. And each of these case studies should echo back to that positioning statement, proving that you can do what you say you can do in that positioning statement. So this is like the validation that you say, I'm Parisa and I help agencies with this services to produce these results. And then below it, you have, here's my work that proves what I just said. You don't use that text in there, but that's the purpose of this next section. So those case studies prove and validate the positioning statement. So let's go down to the case study concept. And you do this better on Behance. And I'm going to take this Bewitch flavored vodka packaging design labels. Did you do the illustration of those projects, of that project?
Yeah.
The witches. Okay, perfect. And you did the design of the Bewitch logo on the can, and you made the mock-up. So this is all your work. And like I said at the start, you do great work. It's great work. What I want to see on a case study is I want to see more than just your finished work. I want to see the process that got you there. So my recommendation on the flow of a case study in your portfolio site is this. You start, and on the top of the page, you have the project title, the client name, that kind of stuff. And then you have an overview statement that says, Bewitch Vodka hired me to redesign their packaging, to improve sales of their product. That's just an example. And so a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph overview of what this project was. And then you bullet point below that the services that you did inside the project. So you did custom illustration, you did packaging design, you did pre-press design, pre-press coordination, whatever services you offered. You did customer service or customer research. You did point of sale research. You put the things in there that you would have done to fulfill this project. And then that's at the top. So it starts client name, 3 to 5 sentence overview, and then bullet points of the services rendered. And then you show the best image of that project. That's all in the top part of this case study, the best image first. And the reason we put the best image first is because if they don't scroll, we want them to see the most polished, finished, best work. Now, below the best image, you start to show them the process. And in this situation, I want to see the rough sketches. I want to see the original witches that didn't make the cut, the ones you didn't use. I want to see the ones you did use. I want to see the final ones, not just on the can, but I want to see them in little images across the screen. And then I scroll down and I want to see them on the can. And then I even want to see them maybe mocked up into a 6-pack box that these could be sold in. And you could create a mock-up of a can of six of these cans sitting inside of a mocked up box, so that you can show that you can take this concept of this project and flow it down through the whole production process, from concept sketches to finished product. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you have a write-up on here. You already have a paragraph explaining it. Yeah, so that's great. So just leave that. You have the top image. Then we're going to go down below it and we're going to show the process. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Next thing, too, let's scroll it. Let's not make it clicks to go through the case study. Clicks are a harder action than a scroll. So we want to make it scrolls rather than clicks. So just let the user come in here to the case study and just scroll down its own page. Okay. Next, going back to the home page. So we have this case study section, And then we're going to go into each of those spawning off to their own case study page. And then below the case study page, we're going to have the About Parisa section. This is a more expanded version of the positioning statement that we have on top. This is where you would put in, you could put a picture of yourself, you could put a picture of your computer work area, a little, behind the scenes kind of photo. You could put the bigger paragraph of who you are and what makes you special and unique. You could put that all in that below the case study section. And then inside of that, I would incorporate the services in that who am I or that about section of this page, where you have the services and just bullet point them inside of that little section. All right. Any questions?
No, thank you. You actually tell me like everything about everything I need to know how can I change my website.
Okay.
And I'm so excited. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. So we have so let me highlight the flow of the page as we go down, and then we'll get to this very last module, which you're doing right and great on here. So the top, you have logo of your little word mark logo, and you have the top navigation. Below that, you have the positioning statement that we talked about. Below that, and a call to action in that positioning statement. Below that, you go right to the case studies that validate the positioning statement. Below that, you have the Learn More About Parisa section with kind of a behind the scenes photo or something and an expanded paragraph that tells people more about you. And then below that, you have the contact form or the call to action, the final call to action of the page, where if they have not yet clicked to email you and ask for an interview, here's the last place that you try and do it. You give them that call to action. And it can be in a contact form like you have, or it can just be I'd love to work with you, or let's work together. Let's have a chat and discuss how I can become a valuable contributor to your business. Any kind of call to action like that as a main final promo on this homepage. Okay, what questions do you have for me now that I got through this batch of recommendations?
That was awesome. Thank you so much for all your recommendation. I just have like 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah.
Some of them related to my website that I'll already get the answer for all of them. And I just have like, as a conclusion, one question. What I think is the future of the graphic design, in which major I can improve myself better and add the better pieces to my portfolio as a graphic designer to get a better job for like.
Yeah. Good. It's a great question. And my answer to that would be you have one case study for UX UI design for your app. But UX UI is one of the fastest growing design disciplines right now with some of the most quantity of jobs available. So showing your ability to do UX would be advisable. And even making a couple of other case studies, personal case studies that show that, just concept projects that you could put in your portfolio would be helpful for you. Yeah.
Okay. And another question is that like, is it okay to bring all your project together in your portfolio, like put them all in your website, or is it better to like save them as a PDF, and if someone wants to see all of them, you send like that PDF to them? I'm not sure about that.
I did both. I had I had a robust website with tons of case studies that were categorized, and I could pull them up anytime I was in a sales meeting with a client. I was like one click away from having the project to show the client. But I also had PDFs that I could send to potential clients, because a PDF makes it so that they can print out the work and show it around to their coworkers and things more easily than just sending links. So they're sitting in a meeting, they're saying, well, who should we hire? Oh, well, Parisa has all these case studies that are exactly what we want. We do packaging design for beverages. She has 4 case studies for beverage packaging design. She's a good fit for us. So that's, and they can slide those pieces of paper across the table. So I did both was the answer. If you're only going to do one, make it your website. Don't make it the PDF. But it's easy enough after you create all of the images for your website to restructure them into a PDF that you can email.
Okay, I got it. And just another question. My biggest concern is how can I build more connection during the pandemic?
Yeah.
You're new in the new country, and I don't have that much connection. So if you can help me with, like, how can I build more connections in here?
Yeah. You really need to just networking digitally is important, and connecting with people online. You connected with me. You sent me a DM. I DM'd back. We DM'd a few times. I invited you to do content with me. And now I'm going to follow you back on Instagram and LinkedIn. And this is the start of a new friendship and connection between you and I. Do exactly what you did with me with lots more people. So it's just the process right now. And you proved that you can do it because you did it with me. So take that same approach. Now, one thing to remember is when you're networking digitally, what's so valuable is to give value first before you ask for something. And this is a little critique of your approach with me. And it fell at a good time because I wanted to do this type of content to help tons of people. This has been on my list for a long time. And you happened to fall in, and I looked and I saw so much potential in your work, but your presentation wasn't well done. I was like, okay, this is the perfect person, because she's talented and can do the work, but she hasn't figured out how to present it. But you came to me with the ask first instead of providing some value back to me. Now, what is the value that you could provide to me? It's, Mike, I've been following you on Instagram for a year. Your content's been so valuable. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing, that support is so valuable to me and motivates me to keep going. Now, I looked past that and saw your potential and said, okay, I'm going to do this with her because her work is good and I need this content. I'm getting value from our relationship right now by being able to take you through this content. In the future, when you go to connect with people, try and give a little morsel of value first. So you go to
you know why I missed this part? My English is not that much perfect, and I'm scared to express my feelings so much by talking. And this is the real talking with you. And I can't even at the beginning of the meeting, my hands was like shaking like this for real. But I cannot express myself in the words because this is my problem, but you cannot believe when you replied my message, I was like, oh my God, it's not impossible that someone this much big, this much far, you're my dream. I want to be someone close, 1% close to you.
Thank you.
what you have right now. But
Thank you.
it's so far from me, and I can't even imagine like how you reply my message. Like I was like, it was like, and I believe in there is something important than like just doing the job, just sending people message, and they never replied me. Like
Yeah.
I did that like many times before, but I never get the reply. But this one, I told myself this is the last time I sent.
Oh, it was.
Yes,
Good
for
thing
real.
I replied.
It was like a magic. It was like a I don't know, miracle for me.
Good.
For real, and it pushed me a lot through this whole career, because I believe, I trust with all of my heart. I trust you, and when you say there is something in my artworks that like worthy, I feel really good, and I was like, oh my God, I have to, maybe I'm not enough for this graphic design whole career. I was looking for my whole career, and I was like, oh my God, I have to find something else. Maybe you just think inside of your mind you have like creativity, or you have a specialty in this major.
Yeah.
But I was like so close to give up. Be quiet in whole conversation, because I was sure you want to post this conversation to help another people, and I don't try to interrupt you. This is how my feeling and how the process. Like,
Thank you.
It's unbelievable. I'm talking with you right now. It's like magic for real.
You know, I think that this is going to help a lot of people, because there's so many people in your situation, and that's what my life mission is right now.
For real.
I'm really trying to help as many people as I can, and so I'm grateful that you would jump on here with me and expose your work like this so that other people can benefit from it, and that's great for you.
Thank you so much.
You're super talented, and the English thing is, don't believe that about yourself. You can communicate good. You can communicate through writing really well. I felt that. I understood everything you were saying, and talking, you do great. So don't believe that story that you tell yourself that you're a little timid because you aren't confident speaking English to people. Ignore that and do it anyway. But like I was saying, provide value first. So if you're going to connect with some business owner or some agency owner, connect with them and say, hey, I'm new in Vancouver. I'm a designer, I'm finishing my bachelors, and I just was researching agencies in the area, and I'm so impressed with your agency. You guys have done so much great work. It's so amazing to me. It would be a dream of mine to work there someday. Hopefully, after I graduate, I can apply, and maybe we can talk about an opportunity. So you give some value, and the value you're giving them is admiration. That's always a super helpful thing.
I will try all of this. I learn a lot. You inspire me a lot. Good. I'm gonna rock this stage.
Good, real. You are gonna rock it. You're a good designer, and you've got the illustration skills. So there's no reason that you can't have a successful career as a designer. No reason.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
We're gonna tweak this portfolio presentation, and then you're gonna start applying to places, and you will get interviews, and they will see how great you are, and they'll see inside your heart, and they'll be like, this is the kind of person we want on our team. And then some magical things are gonna happen for you.
Thank you so much. I hope
for sure
all the best happen for you as well. You're so positive, and you bring me back through all of this way. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Welcome.
It was an honor to be here talking with you, and
thank you.
Getting this much useful critiques to my website, to my artworks. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Okay, so now let's take a look at this redesigned website. You can see here in the top left, we created a simple word mark of her name, Parisa Moghaddam. Now my goal here was to create something that had some artistic illustrative flair to it without being too over the top. So I found a great font on Envato Elements, just a stock font, nothing too crazy, nothing too special, just a simplistic designed word mark for her top left corner that introduces her name. You can see here that on the top right we have a simplified nav, portfolio, about, and contact, and we're only driving people to her LinkedIn where she's going to add contacts in LinkedIn. It's easy to grow on LinkedIn just by connecting with people until she builds an audience in other platforms. We're just going to link them to the one LinkedIn platform. Now you can see here we have this great photo of her that we put right there because what makes her unique? It is her. And this is such a great photo. You look at it, you think, she's awesome, she looks great, she looks like a person that would fit in our team. That's what you're trying to convey, and the picture is worth 1,000 words. Then we go over here to her positioning statement. Hi, I'm Parisa Moghaddam. I am a creative designer helping agencies with production work and illustration to generate results for their clients. We're positioning her as someone who helps with the pain points of an agency. And then we have a call to action right here. Let's work together. So now it's a clear billboard area on her site. Simplified navigation, nice word mark, nice photo, a positioning statement, and then a call to action. Now as we scroll down, you can see that we have the 2 rows of 4 case studies that we're driving to. We got rid of the hover, where you hover to see the information, and we just put the information for those case studies below it, right here. And these are the exact thumbnails she was using on her other site. So we have the information below, and when you click on one of these, it will take you to the case study page, which I'll show you in just a second. Now we keep scrolling down. Now we have the About section. This is the more information about Parisa. And I just used the exact same text she's using on her site right now, but it's nice and clean, and we have a little studio shot that looks like it's her and she's working here in her studio. So we're giving the viewer some insight to her professionalism, to her process, to her style of working, all of those kinds of things. And I threw in another little call to action here. I'd love to connect with you, that you could drive over to LinkedIn or something, just this underlined text right here. And then we scroll down and we get the contact section. And I put in here the let's work together call to action. She had a form on her current site. We put that in here. And we said, use the form or email me directly to connect. And we put her email right in this spot. And you'll see here that I also highlighted the fact that she is actively pursuing an opportunity to contribute to the success of a growing agency. So we're coming right out and saying, this is what I'm looking for. And that I want to contribute to your success as a growing agency. So she's talking about herself, but she's also showing what she's going to bring to the table, or some attention to what's in it for them in hiring her. She cares about their growth. And you'll see here also I put her list of services, just some bullet points of the services that she offers running down that. And then Parisa Moghaddam, just a little footer copyright blurb there to end the page. One thing that I forgot to mention is, if you remember her first site, it's all pink and pastel and colorful. She wants to keep color in her portfolio, but we're just going to use it as an accent color. We're not just going to bombard them with this pink color, because it isn't right for all of the work that she's showing. So we're going to use a reduced color palette, white, black, gray, so that the work is what pops. And you can see here, we used the pink color, this pastel pink that she loves. We used it as a button so that it just accents that color and still brings it in for her brand. All right, now I did another version that has a different positioning statement on top of the page. Let's take a look at that one right now. So here's the new one, or the different one, with a different positioning statement that's also an effective way to message what she's trying to accomplish in her career right now. So you can see here, everything's the same except for the positioning statement that says, I am a Vancouver-based graphic designer with experience in UX, UI, packaging, and print. I'm searching for an opportunity to contribute to the success of a growing agency. Now, what's a little different about this positioning statement, we're highlighting where she is. Because if she's applying to agencies in the Vancouver area, then she should highlight the fact that she's in Vancouver. It makes it easy for them to consider hiring her. We're also highlighting here a little bit more specific information about the services that she offers. UX, UI, packaging, and print. Now, she asked me that question at the end of the video. What should I be working on? What am I lacking in my presentation of work? And I told her UX is such a hot button, and she has one great UX case study, and that's it. So let's exploit that a little more, do a little bit more UX work, and show it in the portfolio so that she can position herself better for a lot of the opportunities that are out there looking for a UX designer. All right, now that we've looked at this portfolio homepage, let's take a look at a case study. And before we dig into the case study that I created for her project, let's look at the version of it that is in her current website right now. So here it is on her homepage, and if I click on the thumbnail, it takes me to this one image right here. And the text is over here on the side. And if I click, I get that one image, and that is it that she shows of that case study. These two images that you see right here. Now let's look at the redesigned case study using the principles that I shared in this video. Okay, at the top of the page, we have the project name and we have a description of the project. And then over here, we get a little overview section that talks about the project that she did. What were the problems the client faced? What was the design trying to accomplish? What were some of the results or the outcomes that we accomplished by this project? You'll also see here on the top of the page, we have a bulleted list of the services that she provided for this particular project. This lets the potential client or the potential employer just quickly parse through and see the skill set that she has that can contribute to their company. So we put that up on the top of the page just to lead the viewer in with an overview of the project. And then as you scroll down, we give them the best shot first. Because if the user doesn't scroll, we don't want them to miss the best shot. We want to show the best thing first. And then below that, we're going to start showing the process that she went through. We're going to give the viewer a little behind the scenes on how Parisa works. So we have this first shot. And then we go down below here and we have some sketches of the witches that she created. Now the viewer realizes, oh, she does illustration sketches. That's interesting. We also have some logo sketches in this sketchbook. And then you scroll down and there's a shot of her sketching one of the witches. So we're bringing the viewer on a journey through our process. And then we show some of the outcome of the project. We show these cans, nice and easy to see. And we scroll down, we get a few more shots of the cans inside of the tattoo arm, which is part of the brand extension and how this brand feels and who it caters to. And then down below that, we have the collage of all of the Bewitched vodka cans. And then when we get to the bottom, we talk about results. What were the results of this project? And this is important to talk about because it's not just about designing cool things. We want to design cool things that produce results for the client. So when you're doing work for people, ask them how things are going at the start, and then after you launch their new packaging or their whatever that you designed for them, ask about the results that happen so that you start collecting some data on the work that you do and how it provides an impact to people's businesses. So we have the results section here for her to fill in as she starts to figure out with the client what the results were of the work. And then a little call to action, let's work together, again, bringing in that little pink accent. And then a little driver here to more case studies, because we don't want to lose the user at the bottom of this page and not have them stay inside the site. So we're going to show them a couple of thumbnails and try and drive them into another case study to look at. And then as you'll see down here below, we've got another little plug in the footer, let's work together, and her email, me@parisamoghaddam.com. Again, it is not a Yahoo email address. And we go here with the copyright on the very bottom. Okay, so that is the redesigned portfolio site for Parisa Moghaddam and all of the strategies that I used in creating this. I know they're going to help you create a better portfolio site, get noticed by potential employers and clients, and have a lot more confidence in the work that you're doing. One thing that I want to highlight is, let's all be honest, and Parisa is too, her original site was not very good. But her work shows so much potential. She's got so much talent, and when we repackage it, we repackage the work into the proper format, like I've done here, it makes her look like a sophisticated, capable, professional, confident designer, rather than a bit of a chaotic, artistic junior designer. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to help Parisa get a job, and I'm confident that if you follow these principles, it's going to help you find a design job and find new clients. I hope that this video has helped you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends who are design students, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks a lot. We will see you again sometime soon.